Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled Evans City Council meeting for Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. My name is Mark Clark. I'm the mayor. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pletka.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Neal. Councilmember Crabtree.
Here.
Councilmember Delaney.
Here.
Councilmember Fair.
Here. All right, next item on the agenda is audience participation. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to address City Council on any item that's not of a public hearing or on the agenda? If so, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing none. All right, Madam. Next item, approval of the agenda. Madam Clerk, any changes to the agenda?
No, Mayor.
All right, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve. Sorry.
All right, I have a motion, a second to approve the agenda. We'll go ahead and vote.
I need to get out of this thing.
Still waiting on. Fred, did you vote? Councilmember Neal?
He's in.
Okay.
It doesn't show pop up. Wait.
Do you want me to enter it for you manually, Councilmember Johnson?
Here we go. Got it.
Got it. Okay.
All right, and that motion passes 7-0. All right, next item on the agenda, consent agenda. Item number 6A, approval of the January 21st, 2025 City Council meeting minutes. Item 6B, consideration of ordinance number 837-25, implementing elector approval of the ballot issue to be second reading. Item 6C, appointment of a full member to the Planning Commission. Item number 6D, legal service agreement with Kimberly Crawford of Butler Snow LLP. And item 6E, legal service agreement with Cobb Law Office LLC. Item 6F, legal service agreement with Amy Penfold Esquire as a backup prosecutor. Entertain a motion. All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Please go ahead and vote on your iPad. All right, that motion carries 7-0. All right, next item on the agenda, item number 7, new business. 7A, consideration of a 2025 concrete replacement project contract. We'll hear from staff.
Good evening, Ty Boreski, Public Works and Utilities Director. Today I'll be presenting on the 25 concrete replacement project contract, which is a renewal based on the 2024 concrete replacement project. As a reminder for council and for new council members, the 2024 concrete replacement project opened for bid on February 5th of last year, with 7 contractors providing accepted bids, and Burnt Mountain Services LLC was the low bidder recommended by engineering staff and were awarded the contract by City Council. This contract gave the option for no more than 3 consecutive renewals, subject to annual appropriation and subject to agreed upon unit pricing. So this year would represent the first renewal, and engineering staff worked with Burnt Mountain to identify a fair agreed upon unit pricing. As I mentioned in the staff report, a 4% increase over 2024 pricing was agreed upon. It's pretty challenging to come up with a metric of what's fair and what's not, especially post-COVID. So I took a peek at some of the CDOT construction pricing indexes dating back to 2012, which showed around an 8% annual increase. So 4% seems more than fair and kind of continues the extrapolation of the data we see throughout the state. In 2024, Burnt Mountain performed well. They were easy to work with. They were well organized. They were the low bidder and did quality work. So the engineering division is confident that they will perform well in 2025. just as a bit of a reminder on this process, every fall, our engineering team kind of goes out and marks concrete that is damaged, is heaving, is sunken, anything that could impact curb and gutter, stormwater, and pedestrian safety. What you see on the attached exhibits represents a few kind of focused neighborhoods where some of those problem areas were identified. That scope of work was provided to Burnt Mountain, of which they priced approximately $303,000, which was less than our engineering update for the work itself. We have budgeted $350,000 this year for concrete rehabilitation, so we are recommending to award this contract renewal to Burnt Mountain for the amount that they've provided for the scope, with the remaining balance representing a staff-managed contingency that would be used if there's unforeseen site conditions or to do additional concrete work. The concrete work we listed is kind of just the beginning of what we planned for this year, but we always have a backlog of identified problem spots, complaints from residents, complaints from staff. So we will be able to use the whole amount if approved by council. So I'll take any questions.
Great, thank you very much. All right, and if you have any questions or comments, please use your voting tab there. And Councilmember Delaney, I see that you are on there, so go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Boreski. Just a quick clarification. Is it a possibility of 3 total years or 4 total years? Is it 1 plus 3 renewals, or is it 3 total years?
The specific language is not to exceed 3 consecutive years of renewal. So I believe that's why this represents the first of the 3 renewals, whereas last year was the initial year. So we would have the opportunity to do this again in 26 and 27.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, if there are no additional questions or comments, I would entertain a motion. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Councilmember Crabtree.
So with sidewalk repairs, I thought that was on the homeowner's responsibility. Clearly it is not.
Generally, when it's part of the curb and gutter, it's kind of one continuous unit, so that's where we generally take care of it. If there's an unforeseen situation where it's an immediate risk and it kind of is combined with roadway work, we'll go in and do it. Generally, we try to do it in areas that we have identified for road work the following year or later in the season. So these 3 neighborhoods, we have planned to do some asphalt work, crack sealing, chip sealing, and so I believe all of these are kind of combined curb and gutter sidewalks that have been identified.
I see. So if there was some concrete damage that was not within that scope of work, the homeowner would be responsible for it. But in this particular situation, we've already pre-sectioned out these zones. We're already doing construction in these zones. We might as well just beautify and update the concrete. Is that what I'm understanding?
It's only if it's a safety or a stormwater hazard. So
Right.
we won't go just because it looks bad, because there's some
No.
spalling. We'll only go there if it kind of is out of spec in terms of a tripping hazard, or it's creating issues with how the stormwater is flowing to wherever it's intended to go. Generally, the sidewalk situation in the city really varies with the HOA. Some are combined curb and gutter, some are separated. Some are in backyards that, behind an inaccessible gate, where then, the city, it's kind of in a weird spot where the homeowner doesn't really have access to it. So there are some situations where even if it wasn't part of the curb and gutter, the city may consider doing that work on our dime, just like we do with some of the snow removal if it's in an inaccessible backyard adjacent.
Thank you for the clarification.
All right, Councilmember Neal.
Yes, I'm glad to see this is going forward. I guess we have quite a bit of non-compliant ADA ramps that we need to get replaced, so I'm glad to hear that we're still going to utilize as much, the maximum amount that's budgeted for this concrete replacement. So hopefully we'll get some extra stuff done.
Yes, and Burnt Mountain is the ones also doing the ADA ramps, so they will be going back to back here with the concrete replacement program, then right to ADA ramps. I don't believe the additional scope of work we identified would apply to more ramps. It would just be more kind of curb and gutter, non-compliant sidewalks. I don't think we'd take on any additional ADA ramps unless something happens in that, you know, we have a heavily damaged one, there's an automobile accident, then it may rise to the top.
All right, I don't see any additional questions or comments up there, so if there's none, I would entertain a motion. All right, I have a motion and a second to award the 2025 concrete replacement project contract to Burnt Mountain Services LLC in the amount of $303,311.73 with a staff managed contingency of $46,688.27 for a not to exceed amount of $350,000. And all those, and we'll go ahead and vote. All right, and that motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, next item on the agenda, reports, city manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I just have a couple of announcements for you. The first one in your packet, I included some information on a upcoming Atmos Gas project that's going to take place on 37th Street between 47th Avenue and 65th Avenue. Before this project is permitted, I wanted to make sure the City Council was fully aware of this because it will include a closure of 37th Street. The project is going to bore a new 6-inch pipe approximately a half mile along 37th Street from really the northwest quadrant of the roundabout where it'll tie in with an existing line, go out west about a half mile. And that, like I said, that's going to be bored. It'll cross 37th Street past the new asphalt there at phase 1. And then there'll be a second project. It looks like installing a boring new 6-inch line from our wastewater treatment plant dirt road access 35th Avenue to 49th Street, and 35th Avenue and 49th Street north about a quarter mile to the Cave Creek subdivision southern boundary. Miller Pipeline is doing the work. Like I said, this will be a full closure of 37th Street from Arrowhead, from 47th Avenue to 65th Avenue. There will be a traffic detour plan, traffic control plan submitted to the engineering division for their review. And I believe we have requested variable message boards be placed 1 week prior to this work beginning, so everybody is aware that there will be a detour. I met with the superintendent yesterday, Dr. Pilch, and informed her of these projects as well. I believe we have a representative from Atmos Gas, maybe 2 representatives from Atmos Gas. If I missed anything with that description, please feel free to come forward. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, are there any questions from the council regarding this specific project?
No.
Okay. All right. Seeing none, the next thing also I think this is in your packet, but gentlemen, if you could come up. I've got 2 new staff members here with us tonight that I would like to introduce. The first is Andy Vowell. He's the city's new contract and procurement specialist, and in the couple weeks he's been with us, we have really got him up and running. He's been working with staff, going through all of our various projects, trying to figure out, make sure we have everything in place for procurement before it comes to the city council. And then we have Mazador Hussein, who started Friday, wasn't it? It was Friday. Started Friday. He is our new city engineer. His expertise is transportation engineering, which really suits us well looking at our 2025 projects. Obviously, we have a lot of transportation projects that we'll be taking on 37th Street sales tax and the such, just a lot of infrastructure projects. So I'm very excited to have both of these gentlemen joining us on the team. I think they're going to be a great fit. They're going to work well with our team and just keep us moving forward. So welcome to the city of Evans. Glad to have you guys with us. If there's anything you'd like to say, feel free. Otherwise, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Very glad to be here. Excited to help contribute and here to do some good work.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to introduce myself. Thank you very much. We are looking forward and we should be part of this big group, and we are really looking forward to bring some more success for the city. So it should be.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Glad to have you on the team. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. All right, there wasn't anything on there that said city attorney, but I'll ask anything. Anything for the city attorney?
Thank you. Just briefly, as I'm going to be repetitive, just so you know, going forward, in the
weeks and months and years ahead. But our city charter does, and under 4.9, special counsel requires city council approval. I don't need to go over all of those agreements because we already talked about it. But the idea is that special outside counsel is channeled through the city attorney and on behalf of the city council. And thank you for approving those agreements tonight. One of them was with Krob Law, which Nathan Krob is working on the Liberty Draw change case regarding 6 GLIC shares that are needing to be changed from irrigation use to municipal use. And there were multiple objections received in that case from various parties. This past Wednesday on January 29th, I met with Liberty Draw attorneys and Nathan Krob and our city water engineers, including Doug Seeley, who's the city engineer for the city in that case. And I just want to report that there are negotiations underway. I don't want to compromise that. Plus, just throw out technical knowledge that would that I don't even totally understand regarding dry up and everything with change cases, but. That case is nearing resolution in the opinion of everyone involved. So we're moving forward with that. And I just wanted to report that Nathan Krob is working diligently on behalf of the city in that regard. I also, in that attorney-client agreement, included the Liberty Draw case, but also and other matters as determined necessary by the city attorney. I just wanted to note that there's this catch-all in the event that there is an urgent need for the city to retain water counsel. For example, the city of Aurora recently filed a water change case for these shares of water that personally I don't recognize. On our water engineer's advice, Rick Picard, I sent the change case to Doug Seeley, who's our water engineer on these types of cases, to review to determine whether the city should file a response. I don't think a response is going to be necessary in that case because I don't think it concerns anything with the city, but I also don't know for sure. So because that response is due February 28th, if we do decide to get in, we have Krob Law on board in the event that we need to, engage them for a response without awaiting the city council and approval of, a new matter. And so that's where that language is in the attorney-client agreement. So that's my report. Thank you very much.
All right, next time on the, all right, next item, we got council discussion. So I do have a couple things to bring up. So a couple weeks ago on Fridays ago, Cody and I had a great meeting with Commissioner James. We discussed doing some partnerships and maybe getting some investments on 37th Street to continue in the widening of that. One of the things that was discussed was maybe partnering with them to get some money to widen that bridge. Because as we know, we go to 4-lane, we have that bridge which needs a total replacement. So we were, working at the MPO level to change this Freedom Parkway, 37th Street, to a regionally significant corridor, which will allow us the opportunity to go after more federal and state funding. So we're going to work together to get that through the MPO so we can go out and get some more money, hopefully, to help our citizens and widen that road. We also discussed our cleanup days. One of the things that he did mention is that he wanted us to entertain possibly, opening it up to like Hillen Park and some other county residences that are within Evans but are unincorporated Evans. And we said no, because it's already a significant financial loss to the city because we subsidize a lot of it. But he offered that the county would be willing to provide extra roll-offs, would provide extra funding and all that stuff to help offset the cost that the city spends on those cleanup days to allow Hillen Park and other county homes and all that stuff, participate in our cleanup day. So when we have that discussion later on, as we move forward towards cleanup day, we'll bring that back up to council for consideration of that. But they're willing to pay and willing to help us out. So we also had a meeting with Adrian Sandoval, who's the chief of staff, on Friday for Congressman Gabe Evans. We talked about some of the needs and challenges that we have in Evans, mainly transportation and water, both treated and our wastewater treatment plan. I know there's been kind of a hold on some of the federal level funding, but it does not pertain to infrastructure from what we understood. So we talked about permitting processes for the wetlands there for that bridge on 37th Street, maybe helping get some funding at the federal level as well to help replace that bridge so we can widen that to 4 lanes. We also discussed, I know Fred will, Councilmember Neal will like this, expanding our non-pot system throughout the city of Evans and see if there's any money at the federal level that we could use to start that expansion through the city. So it's not mainly all on the taxpayer's dime. We can get some of that grant money at the federal level. Then we also talked about ways that we can get some money to offset at the federal level the cost of the expansion of the wastewater treatment plant, as well as looking at some, infrastructure improvements for water lines and sewer lines throughout the community as we need it. So good productive conversations there. I know the congressman expects to be in the community hopefully next week. Hopefully he'll attend the town hall, but we're going to probably set up a meeting with him directly when he comes into town. So great meetings all around, and hopefully we'll get some money here in Evans to get those projects going and come more into fruition there. So that's all I have. Anybody else? Councilmember Neal.
Well, I got some feedback from, or a complaint from someone on the east side about the last council meeting. They claimed that the sound was off during the work session. So I don't understand that because it seemed to be working fine. And they also had some concerns about what was it? The voting process. They could not read. They said it flashes up there so fast that they can't read what the motion is, or what and who's voting for it against. And also, I noticed that when I was looking at the minutes, that all it says is motion carried. It doesn't give the former information that it did on whether or not it was unanimous vote or whether someone had voted against it. So that seems to be limiting a little bit on information provided to the public.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna say I rewatched the work session last week and there was sound. So I don't know if they had their devices sound off or something, but.
Yeah, I don't know what what her problem was with it, because it seemed to be working fine when we were talking. So I don't know. But I guess she's got a group of people on the east side that watch YouTube at their convenience, and they discuss different aspects of what went on during the council meeting. So that was a surprise to me, because I had noticed that nobody was zooming in, but I guess we're not doing the Zoom things to cut down on a little bit on the the problem with Jules having to set that up during the meetings.
Anything else?
For some reason, my e-scribe is saying failure. It's like hung up on a vote. So I'm like, I can't even move. It just gives me an error. So I can't do the, see, e-scribe. Okay, well, anyway, so one of the things I do want to bring up, it was brought to my attention and also from my community and our community, that I know in 2017, we had a statement that was disseminated to schools as well as our community, just to kind of ease our community, especially our Latino community, from immigration enforcement from our police department. So I just wanted to kind of bring up the discussion and also proposed to possibly place a statement on social media indicating that same message that we had then is just kind of, although yes, people can go on the website, and yes, we've mentioned it before, I think it'd be advantageous to kind of let the community know, our prioritization of safety concerns over bias. And I think what that would do is also help build stronger relationships and then encourage cooperation and public confidence in our efforts as a community and also for our police department. And so I wanted to bring that up with council in discussion to see if we can possibly do that to reassure our almost 50% population of Latino community members in Evans.
I think that the policy's been in place since 2017, and that's still the policy of the police department, and it's already out there for public knowledge.
It has been removed.
We need to bring it up.
It has been removed.
Anybody else?
I echo your thoughts. It's been a policy for 7 years. We haven't changed the policy, so.
Right, but that's not, granted, you may know that, but I think community members need to be reassured. So it's something that we need to consider, considering that that's part of your constituent base.
Okay, well, then the point of order here, we basically have 2 no's right now. Is there any other no's?
You know what? Honestly, this is a conversation. It's not like you get to decide. There's 2 no's. We're having a discussion.
Right, so anybody else in agreement with that? Or have any thoughts?
Well, I think it's been placed out there.
It's been removed. I just checked. I asked Cody. Cody stated that it has been removed.
Okay.
It was on
All right,
our
so,
website.
Councilmember Neal, continue with your thought.
Well, I feel that our police officers are sworn, when they're sworn in, say that they will obey the Constitution, and even though the federal government is technically responsible for taking care of our borders, that if they need assistance in support to protect them when they're doing raids against these vicious criminals that have been shown on the TV operating out of Denver, then they need to be able to provide that support. Now, I don't know if that's the policy of the department based on what was put out 7 years ago.
I may need to clarify what I mean by this. It's just indicating, we're not talking about that aspect of it. We're just indicating if a resident, a community member or resident of Evans that is Latino in origin, and they call into the police department and they get dispatched to a home, they just want to be ensured that they're not going to be asked about their citizenship or their legal status, that all of that. Granted, yes, we're aware of that. We are, because we understand that. But it's just sometimes you have to give the community that assurance that, hey, in times like these, we just want to ensure that we provide here, this is who we are, and this is what we follow.
Chief Brandt has always had that.
Prohibits them from doing that.
Is it wrong to do that for the community? That's
I'm not
almost
saying-
50%.
I'm not saying it is or isn't. This is a discussion. If the council wants to go in that direction, then that's the direction that we'll go in.
Could I ask of Cody, could you provide the council with what the city's previous statement had been posted?
I didn't bring it with me.
I don't know if it was on the former website. I don't remember where that was posted.
If you give me just a minute, I can go get it and read it to you.
Okay.
I don't have my laptop with me, so I'll be.
I didn't bring mine with me. But Chief Brandt has always had been concerned that we need to take care of the criminal element that is threatening perhaps the Latino community. The gang members are, Latino gang members are specifically targeting our residents in some cases, and he wants you know, he's always put out as long as I've known him, that he wants those people to be able to come in and report these incidents, you know, without any fear. So that's why, that original message was put out, 7 years ago.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, so the message, the letter from Chief Brandt's office, March 24, 2017, Evans Police Department statement on immigration law enforcement. The city of Evans has recently received inquiries regarding how its police department works with federal immigration authorities and how we interpret federal immigration laws. It is the opinion of the Evans Police Department that immigration law enforcement is a federal responsibility and that it is not the department's role to directly assist with federal enforcement efforts. Direct involvement would be outside of EPD's mission and official responsibilities and could have a chilling effect on the willingness of individuals to report crime or assist with the investigation of crime. This approach should not be interpreted to mean that we provide sanctuary to those who are violating immigration laws. Evans is not a sanctuary city. The police department works cooperatively with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which includes cooperating with the Weld County Jail to share information on the national origin of all arrestees who are jailed. We provide logistical support whenever asked to all federal partners who may be conducting operations within our communities. Additionally, EPD strongly supports the efforts of ICE to arrest, detain, and deport undocumented individuals who have committed felony and/or violent crimes. EPD officers do not, however, check the immigration status of individuals with whom they routinely come in contact, nor does ICE expect EPD to do so. To conduct such checks or sweeps would negatively impact the willingness of individuals to cooperate with EPD officers. Moreover, there is no constitutional requirement for citizens to provide proof of immigration status when contacted by police officers, and therefore the department does not make such inquiries or report such information inadvertently obtained to ICE. The Evans Police Department values its relationships with all members of its diverse community and affirms its commitment to treat all people with respect and dignity regardless of immigration status.
So I have a question for you. Are you just asking that the city basically repost that
Yeah, so to get it reposted.
like on Instagram or Facebook or anything?
Yeah, just like post it like, hey, here's our stance from 2017. Granted, it's been taken down, so I don't think you can state that, or you'd probably have to revise it. That's pretty much it. Like, this is who we are. This is, and that, you can probably even print, post what it states. It's just, again, ensuring that our community is safe, because ultimately, that's one of our priorities. It's safety.
I don't mind that we put that out there again. I don't see the harm in it, but yeah, if it's just a statement, yeah, why not let them know?
I think that statement is, excuse me, very professional, and I would like to leave it at the discretion of the chief of police as to how that information is disseminated in the public. And if it's, if that information is not available on our website, I think that would be certainly fine. Whether we go out actively posting that on social media could be, I think, potentially perceived as a political statement of a sort, which I don't necessarily.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind where it goes out.
Yeah, I think it should be accessible on our city website, though. And then, like I said, I would really like to leave that issue fully in the hands of the discretion of our chief of police.
I too would like to leave it with the
I
police
agree.
department and let them make the final decision. I definitely do not want to post this everywhere because we do have a diverse population group, and we're focusing on all groups. And so let the police department decide what they want to put out there. It's clearly posted, it's in the Constitution, and
I just am gonna say there's a difference between posting it on the website, which I have no problem with, and posting it to social media where people get a push notification. And then it looks, again, like you said, very political. And this is not a political statement. This is just a statement of fact that we want you to come in and report crime, and we're not going to ask about your nationality. So that's why, again, I say no, we should not post it on social media. But if it's on our website, I'm fine with that, because you're not going to get a ding notification from
Well, that's what I'm
Instagram.
saying,
That's
like,
what I'm
I'm fine with whoever puts it out or where they
Yeah.
put it. I just,
I don't want it to be a political statement. That's all I don't
Yeah.
want it to do.
right.
I don't think it's a political statement. I think it's, and again, I do also like what Councilmember, Fair? Fair, okay, mentioned, you know, I do leave it up to you, Chief, to, your ultimate, you know, decision, but I would like at least, at minimum, it be back on the website, because I think it's important. I think it is a fact that we have 50% Latinos in our community, and also 50% of our community should feel that they can call without any bias, whether we like it or not.
Are you implying that 50% of our community isn't comfortable with calling the police department because of a lack of a statement on our webpage?
No, I'm not stating that.
Okay.
Chief, it's up to you, however you want to do it. That's, however you decide to do it, it's up to you.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, anything else to go to the order? If not, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Why this thing is.